You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. Her Torrid affairs. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Narcissists are invariably unfaithful. The infidelity can occur, often physically and sexually, but also emotionally, intellectually, and financially, although it's the first two that tend to cause people to be bent out of shape. Why do narcissists cheat? Well, the simple answer is because we can. We have that sense of entitlement to do what we want. We're not bound by accountability. We have no emotional empathy for the people affected, be it the person that we're cheating on, or, for instance, the fact that we might be interfering in somebody else's relationship by pulling a spouse away from their spouse. We don't recognise the boundaries in that regard. It's a form of manipulation, and of course it's done because it enables us, as always, to pursue the prime aims. We use sex and other means in the context of infidelity to control people, to draw fuel from them by way of their responses. We don't cheat during the golden period, because then we're in the process of when you're the intimate partner primary source and you're embedded, everything about you is wonderful, and therefore we're given no reason to cheat. However, once you enter devaluation, then there is the opportunity to do so. In part, it's done because you are seen to have let us down from our perspective, causing us to look elsewhere. It enables us to triangulate you in certain instances where we might be obvious about the cheating, so that it punishes you and draws a response from you as you're painted black. At the same time, we treat that person as painted white and engage with them in a way where we flatter them and give them what you once received from us. Of course, there is always the potential for that person to become the intimate partner primary source and replace you from your position as the intimate partner primary source. Infidelity with a narcissist is common, and it's all underpinned by those various drivers that allow us to get to the prime aims. This means that whilst many people will have numerous sexual partners, intimate partners in their life, when it comes to narcissism, particularly somatic and elite, you'll find that there is a long list of ex-lovers. This is because sex is a major method of seduction, a brilliant way of us getting what we need, and therefore this necessitates using it with regard to certain people, but also doing so with free abandon to control as many appliances as possible. And that is why at some junctures a narcissist may have 4, 5, 6 intimate partner secondary sources on the go at any one time, as they're making their way to installing one of them as a primary source. Quite simply playing the field extensively. And there is a lot of chopping and changing of the relationships, whereby with certain narcissists their relationships are marked by only lasting for a short period of time before they're on to the next one, and then the next one. A year, 18 months, 2 years, 6 months, and so on and so forth. A vast number of intimate partner primary sources exist. Therefore, it is not uncommon to find that the narcissist bowls up with a long list of those ex-lovers. And, once again, it's hello that tells us that Prince Harry questioned Harry's wife about torrid affair claims ahead of royal wedding. Apparently, the Duke of Sussex was wild with rage over the false claims. Nicola Murphy writes, the Duke of Sussex was forced, doesn't say by whom, to ask his then girlfriend, Harry's wife, about her dating history ahead of their royal wedding in 2018. After news of their relationship went public, Prince Harry explained that there was a huge media storm around the former Suits actress, with the press digging into her marriage with Trevor Engelson and her other past relationships. After it was suggested that the Duchess had a torrid affair with a hockey player who was pictured on her now-deleted Instagram page, Harry asked her to clarify their relationship. This, of course, is the circumstances of where there was a hockey player whose name escapes me, but I haven't talked about him in parts past him, where Harry's wife was interacting with him on Instagram, and I think he made an offer to pick her up from the airport, and that there was clearly communications and flirtation between the two until he realised that she was still in a relationship with Corey Vitiello, and he basically backed off, pointing out that she hadn't made it clear that she was in an existing relationship. And he did the honourable thing, but was less than impressed with her. Hello brings up the past by stating from Wah, God, they were already into her past and looking at her first marriage, he wrote in his tell-all memoir, Wah, which hit the shelves in January 2023. Never mind that my father, a divorcee, was currently married to a divorcee, or my aunt, Princess Anne, was a remarried divorcee, the list went on. Divorce in 2016 was deemed by the British press to be a scarlet letter. Oh, Harry, how you fail to see what's going on. Of course, Harry, driven by his emotional thinking and low cognitive function, just thinks there's a witch hunt against his wife, and, probably again written by his wife over his shoulder, bangs on about the status of his father, and Camilla, and Princess Anne, basically saying, oh, they were all having a go at her because she's been divorced. But hang on a second, there are other members of the royal family who are divorced. And basically, he's deflected by that. The article continues, Harry's wife married American actor and producer Trevor on a private beach in Jamaica in September 2011, but just 2 years later, Harry's wife and Trevor's marriage was dissolved in a no-fault divorce after citing irreconcilable differences. She, of course, disengaged from him. Next, The Sun combed through Harry's wife's social media, discovered an old photo of her with a friend and a professional hockey player, and created an elaborate yarn about Harry's wife and the hockey player having a torrid affair. I asked Harry's wife about it, he said, and added that Harry's wife's response was, no, he was hooking up with my friend. I introduced them. Yeah, sure. Denial. First line of the twin lines of the narcissistic defence. And of course, Harry, in the grip of his emotional thinking and his naivety, accepts that explanation. The fact is, she of course, given her age of 41, means that she would have had a number of previous relationships, but moreover, as a narcissist, she'll have had lots, and many will have overlapped. But Harry fails to understand and pick up on this. Instead, he puts it to her, not because he's challenging her, but because the press are doing so. So he's only asking her about it because the press have raised it. He doesn't think to himself, hang on a second, is this somebody that I can trust? She was seeing the chef, but then was gadding around with the golfer, Rory McIlroy. She wasn't married for very long to Trevor. Why did that end so quickly? What about these rumours of there being a marriage before that to some Jewish gentleman? It seems that she was still seeing the chef when she was seeing me. Do I really want to have a relationship with this individual? But of course, his mind doesn't go there. Instead, it's more a case of, bastard press are asking these questions, they're all arseholes, I'm going to ask you about it, not because I'm challenging you, but I basically want to be able to prove that the press are wrong. And of course, she knows this. Harry explained that private investigators were experts on her background and boyfriends, and it was therefore well known that every word they'd written about her and the hockey player was hot garbage. Except it wasn't, because the Instagram messages demonstrate that she was flirting with the hockey player whilst seeing the chef Corey Vitiello, and that the hockey player backed away from her when he realised that she was in a relationship. And accordingly, if it was just simple friendship, why would the hockey player back away? He backed away because she was wanting more. She was making eyes. She was making suggestions. Who knows? Maybe something had happened sexually between them. We don't know. But for the fact that the hockey player backed off in the way that he did, you wouldn't do that if you were just friends. He did so because she was trying to take it in an amorous, intimate direction, and he didn't want any of that because he knew that she was with somebody else. Understandably, the article goes on, Prince Harry went on to become fiercely protective of his future wife, admitting he felt wild with rage and wanted to sue after the story wasn't removed, but was advised not to by his lawyers. Once again, his white knight syndrome as he rides in to rescue his wife. This article brings up the past as an attempt again to demonstrate how awful the press are, and of course to demonstrate how Harry truly does love his wife and wants to be protective of her, and how these scurrilous rumours from years ago are quite simply that, scurrilous rumours. Another attempt by Harry's wife to quash these things by revising history, but by bringing up the past in relation to matters that many people wouldn't really have much regard to. But clearly, she's attempting to deflect from recent problems in terms of the South Park mauling by saying the press were telling lies about me before. You should all feel sorry for me. Of course, it's not going to work. People have had enough of it. But it also demonstrates the naivety of Harry, that he didn't question, didn't analyse, didn't consider the long list that she has and the circumstances of her interactions. Of course, many people fail to do this when they enter into a relationship. They accept what the narcissist tells them with regard to their relationships. Invariably, of course, the other people are blamed as causing the demise of the relationship, and the narcissist has been the one who's on the receiving end. And always the victims accept this, believe it. This is because they're confronted with a person who seems to be so wonderful and treating them well, and therefore also plays the victim. And it is plausible. But rather than asking key questions, rather than looking at it logically and wondering more about that person's relationships, they think, well, I don't want to pry, it's not really any of my business. But it ought to be, because you can learn so much from that person's relationships in the past, how they view them, how they're viewed by those other people, and you would see lots of red flags that, if you paid attention to them, would save you a lot of heartache. Similarly for Harry, but it's too late for him now. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.